Welcome sages, it's me, Kolo the Wise, and I realized I made quick reviews about older games which maybe you knew about already, and also discussed whether you should play them or not, but I didn't do this for a newer game which I spent hours, 100 hours in it already, that being Vampire Survivors. And since I expect a lot of players to join the game and the community in the coming days, I wanted to create a video in which I discuss if you should play Vampire Survivors, what are some pros and cons about the game, and after we discuss that, I'll let you consider if you should or actually shouldn't play the game. Let's start with the first question. Should you play it? Yes, I think you should totally play it. I think that the game deserves to be played, but there is also a but. It depends. Let's talk a bit about the game. The game is small, with higher expectations of course, higher than you might think, but it can be called a niche game. The game is easy to play but really hard to master, and there are people doing challenges every day, but of course you don't have to do them in order to enjoy the game and the entire experience of playing the game. I don't do that, and I enjoy the game as it is, although I played it a lot more than my friends. I was actually obsessed with it at some point. Now not really, since I consider I finished the patch, and usually I just play for fun from time to time, but mostly I wait for new patches to arrive to see the new things added to the game. That's also not to say that the game is short. It has replayability, you can play it as many times as you want, and do any combinations of items for hundreds of times and still not get bored. There are people that just do this every day and don't get bored. Just check their Discord, the game Discord, and you'll see. This also brings me to my next point. If the game isn't short, then is it long? How long does it take to finish it? Well, to be more precise, the game doesn't actually have a finish point. It has a maximum amount of minutes you can spend in a run, but as it stands now, it doesn't have a story, nor an actual finish. You create your finish whenever you want to. This could also be considered a con by some people. I consider it pro for the game for me. Looking at the collection tab, like this one, or the power up tab, or the unlock tab, you'll see that the game has a lot to offer, a lot to discover, and a lot to upgrade to make your experience better and better to the replayability component. And that's when the replayability component comes into play. I haven't talked about how the game plays yet, but I will in a couple of seconds, and I will also show you a couple of maps and runs and so on, since I also want to discuss about one more thing about the game. At the moment, the game is very, very cheap. I consider it should be more expensive, to be honest. The experience that you get for playing the game is very good, and for only $3 I think it deserves way more. And that again comes from someone that has a shitty country with a shitty currency and so on. So if I could afford it, most likely you can too. Yeah, and also the community is very active, and they're very joyous when it comes to discussing with different people about the game. The game and the team is very active and so on. Let's talk about the game, how it plays, with what games it looks like and feels like, and I'll show you a bit of gameplay, not the entirety of a run, but a quick snippet to show you how the game actually is, so you can make an opinion based on what you see in the beginning. Let me see if I have... no, I don't. Now, I think... no, I don't think you have sound, to be honest. I'm not sure what's happening, because I also want to show you the sound of the game. I think you should have now, but let's put it a bit. Yeah, I think you should have it now. Okay, so let's start a run. I will start with the first character that you get in the game. I will go onto the first map. Let's hope the sound is not that powerful compared to my voice, and I think it is. I've changed it, so let's hope that you can still hear it, because I don't. But again, the game style, the playstyle is pretty simple. You just move around, you dodge these creatures, and you use your weapons and different passive items that you get along the way whenever you're leveling up, in order to create different builds. There are many builds, there are also evolutions. So let's say that you have like the whip, the weapon that you have now, and you take a different passive item. You can also evolve this into a better weapon. There are many things that you can do in the game that evolve into higher and better weapons or different items, and with those you can actually create very powerful builds. Let's say cross. This is yet another weapon. So basically the game is very simple. The mechanics are very simple. You just kill mobs, and looking at a timer, depending on what minute you are, so let's say what stage of the map you are at the moment, you'll get different types of mobs. There are many characters too that you can choose, but I chose to have the first one. Let's take clock lancet. So there are many weapons. I don't know how many weapons there are in the game right now, but there are many weapons and many passive items that you can get and have different builds. So as you see, I passed the 1 minute mark and there are different mobs appearing. There is also a boss. This boss will also drop either a higher experience bubble or a chest that the player can take in order to evolve his weapons after he meets some criterias. And also I think the song changed now because I took this weapon. You will not have this weapon from the beginning, you need to unlock it. It's an achievement, it's not that hard to do, and anyways you will do it as you play, so it's not that hard to get it. But this is the chest and I will open it now to show you how this chest acts whenever you interact with them. So it has a nice animation, a nice quick song, and it gives you gold, and depending on your build and so on, it gives you either an upgrade for something that you already have, or it also gives you an evolution if you meet certain requirements. Now as you see that there's like this flaming item on the ground, there are also items that you can pick from the ground after you kill some small props. And let's see what this does when I get it. I didn't level up because of that, please know that. But now that I get it, I'm actually spitting out flames, and it almost actually it insta kills these mobs because they have a very low health at the moment. But yeah, basically this is the game. It's a pretty simple concept. The game itself is incredible for me. You might look at it and think to yourself, why does anybody play this game? But you'll see once you play it that the game actually deserves everything. This is what my friends said when I told them about the game, and they looked at a bit of gameplay and said like, why would I play this? It's not that interesting. Yes, maybe it doesn't look interesting on the screen, but once you play it, you'll see that the game has a lot to offer, and I can pretty much assure you that if you buy the game and you start playing it, you will not regret it. Let's try a new map. So this was the first map. Let's take, I don't know. Let's take Po and go to stage 4. This is the last map that you can unlock at the moment. There are many maps and there are many more maps to come, as we've been shown in the roadmap on the Steam, but I'll talk about it a bit later in the video. As you can see, also the mobs are different, the song is different, some of the effects are also different and so on. So each map has something new to bring, but the playstyle is basically the same. The mobs of course are different, the weapons are the same, but also on the map you can also get different weapons, and you can create a build with more items than the limit. So at the moment you have the limit of having only 6 weapons and 6 passive items, but with these items that you can find on the map, you can create a build that has more weapons than the limit. In fact, I think I also have a video about it in which I try to create a build with more weapons, with as many weapons as I can actually, and I try to defy the limit that the game also confines me in. But basically this is the game. I hope you kind of made an idea about the game. You can also watch some more videos of mine. I have a couple of videos with the full run, and you can see what happens when you get at the end of a run, or what happens at later stages of the game, basically like in the end game of a run. But basically this is the game. um, I think I can quit at the moment. So as you can see, like, the game itself is pretty simple. It's easy to play but hard to master, as I've said before. The animations are wonderful, the music is even greater for me, the visual effects, the weapons, the evolutions, everything is perfect for me at the moment. Let's take a look at all the characters you can play, but please bear in mind that I do not have every secret character. There are 2 or 3 that I'm missing, but I'm not hurrying to take them at the moment. I'm just having fun. You first start with these 5 characters, with Antonio, Imelda, Pascalina, Gennaro, and Arca. And you can unlock them with gold which you get at the end of a run, depending on how much gold you made, how many chests you open, and so on. And after that you unlock all of these characters with different achievements, or there are some secret characters, like I have here X Dash and Leda. For this to unlock, you will have to watch some of my other videos, because I will not talk about this in this video. Each one of them has some sort of different playstyle. Each one of them has usually different stats, as you can see right here, like with the health, recovery, might, area, speed, and so on. And after you unlock them with gold or 3 different achievements, you can create a build for each one of them, because they also have like this characteristics. So Porta has permanent plus 30% area. That means that all of your attacks will be 30% bigger than on any other character. Or this one, it has the weapon cooldown reduced every 10 levels to a maximum of 15%. Or this one, it gives you 1 more revival and you gain even 1 more at level 33, like when you get to level 32 with this character in the run. This one starts with 1 extra level, and so on. So each one of them has different characteristics or stats that maybe you like or do not like. Like, you'll end up having some favorite ones. My favorite ones at the moment are Christine, and I think this is a community favorite at the moment, because it has a very it starts with 1 extra level anyways, but it also has the cooldown reduced by 25% more compared to others, so you can go and do some crazy builds with her. I also like, sometimes I like, depending on the run, I like Porta and Poe, because these 2 actually let me do some crazy AFK builds. I like Ramba when it comes to completely AoE builds. I think I even posted a video, or I will post it, I'm not sure yet, because I'm recording this before posting it. But again, like, these are my favorite ones. Maybe you love other characters and so on. Like, each player has different favorite characters. Now let's take a look at the items. So it's in the collection tab. So you see a lot of things here. Well, you can see here the items, so these are the weapons. You can also see some passive items, which are this one right here. So starting here with the spinach, armor, hollow heart, Pomarola, and so on. And near the weapons, so right after the weapons, you can also see the evolution. So each weapon, actually not each weapon, I think there are a couple of them that do not have an evolution yet, I'm not sure though. Yeah, so there are a couple of them that do not have an evolution, but mostly every weapon in the game has an evolution, and you can unlock them if you meet the certain requirements. So for example, for the whip, you need hollow heart, so you need to have the whip and the hollow heart in the same time when you're in a run, and you need to open a chest in order to evolve it. But in the collection tab, you also see every item that it's droppable with a couple of relics, but these are for later in the game, you'll find them yourself. These are the experience gems, the gold coins, and so on. So basically these are all the items that you can find in the game, and all the items that are with green have like that green background because they're dropped on the ground. Looking also at the achievements, so the unlocks, there are 72 achievements at the moment. Maybe when you're watching this and when you're playing this, there will be more, because we know that there will be a lot more. The roadmap has shown us on the Steam from the developers that we have a lot more to expect. But basically here you find out everything that you need to do in order to unlock every character, every item, and so on. Looking at the power up tab, here you also have different, not power ups, I mean you can call them power ups actually. These are traits kind of that you can upgrade in order to make your experience better, easier, or harder in the same time if you choose curse. But these are things that help you create like a different experience compared to the first one, the first time you boot the game. And this also invokes the replayability component again, because you need to replay the game many times, I guess many times, in order to complete the power up tab. And this is sometimes considered to be the finish, the end game for some players. I don't actually consider it. I like to create new builds and so on, but again, that's for me. Now let's talk about some pros and cons, since I've shown you how the game plays, how it is. I mean, I didn't show it in its entirety because I can't in a video, and I think it's long enough already. It's like 16 minutes. But let's go to the pros and cons. So let's start with the pros, and I want to say it from now that the pros clearly outweigh the cons in every regard. The first pro of the game is that not only it's a passion project, and you can clearly see that when playing or when checking the news for the game and so on, but also the game has a lot of potential. So these two are said. The game has a lot of potential, and we've been shown that with the roadmap from Steam, with how active the developers are, basically with everything regarding to the game, it has a lot of potential. The game is looking a bit like Castlevania, mostly because it has vampires, but looking at older Castlevania games, you can clearly see like the bit style, the animations and so on look like that. Also Antonia has the whip, so there are a couple of similarities there, but that's not bad. That's actually good because it's influenced by many games. It's also influenced by a mobile game called Magic Survivors, and I think that these two games together will create this genre of games, and I love it. Another pro of the game is the simplicity of the game and the play style, the casual style of it. You can play it anytime, you can do it mostly anywhere, and I think that we will see it come to mobile too very soon, so you can actually play it everywhere. But not only it's casual, it also has a more profound endgame that you create yourself. But that brings us to like some sort of con. Another pro point, and it's, let's say, half pro, is that the game lets you do whatever you want, giving you many maps and even more to come in the next months, giving you many items that you can create, any combination of builds you want and so on, but it doesn't have a linear progression, and I will talk about that when it comes to the cons of the game. The game is very replayable. This is the main component of the game, and this component actually makes it that people are obsessed with it, with a ladder for different challenges in the game, a ladder which was created by the community, and that you can find on their Discord, on the game's Discord. Not only you can replay it thousands of times, you can also compete with other players or even create challenges yourself for other players. So it's like some sort of ecosystem created by the community for the game that keeps the game like not alive, but keeps the game fresh, you know. So every time you want to do something, maybe you can even create challenges to give to other players and so on. Another pro at the moment, and I hope that this will change in the future, the game is also very cheap. I said that I wish it was more expensive in another video, because they deserve it, but at the moment it's very cheap. $3 on Steam for hundreds of hours of great gameplay and fun. I can assure you that you will not regret buying this game. It's only $3. Most of you, I assume, that can afford $3 for a game that gave people hundreds of hours, and if not hundreds, at least 40 hours of fun. That's more than some AAA games nowadays. And as a last pro point for this video, because I don't want to make it too long or longer than it already is, if you like the game now, expect even greater things for it in the future. The roadmap is incredible, and I can't wait for it. The team is actively working, and they're working hard to make the game even better than it is now, and they're listening to feedback. So on Discord you can actually give the feedback to the game. Maybe you want to see something implemented or you have an idea, you can discuss with the developer directly. They have a tab on Discord for feedback. So we talked about some pros. There are many pros that maybe I missed or something, but I don't want to make the video longer. Let's talk about some cons about the game. Although the game lets you do whatever you want, it's not like Minecraft, it's not a sandbox, you can do whatever you want in the confines of the game. And maybe this game isn't for you, you can call it some sort of niche game. There are some bugs here and there, but they are so few and far in between and so hard to find that you might not even get to see them ever, but I still wanted to point this out in case you actually see it. This is a very minor con point though. I said the game is replayable and casual and so on, but maybe some of you might not like this component of the game. It doesn't give a true end to the game at the moment. It doesn't have a story at the moment, nor a real progression to the game. It's not linear and it might drive some of you away, but it's fine. And I also expect for the game to get a story in the months to come. That's why I'm saying at the moment. I really want to see this game succeed and also have some sort of story or lore behind the characters, maybe some mystery to activate that part of community that loves to dig in secrets and mysteries and so on. Like, we also have secret characters at the moment, they can surely do that. The last counterpoint that I can say about the game is that it still lacks every feature that you might want in the game. It's still in early access. This is the con point. So you don't get the full product. Maybe you want the full game when it appears, and that's fine. Maybe you don't want to wait for it to become complete every time, and that's fine. But it's a con point, and I wanted to add it here. It's fine. It is a con point, but still, it's fine. Well, this is my opinion about the game. Tell me what do you think, tell me if I missed anything, and I'm sure I missed a lot of things, and if I should have added something more to the video. I hope you enjoyed it, I hope it was not only entertaining, but also informative, and until next time, stay wise.